Breath of the Wild 2 has a very uplifting trailer for the most part, with shots of sweeping vistas and incredible sights, and an uplifting, exciting score. But it both begins and ends with a darker presence, and there's one aspect that haunts me through the entire trailer. Link is alone again. He lost Zelda, of course, but he also lost something else. Something that's been with him for much of his life. For the second time, Link lost the Master Sword. Did you notice? At every point in the trailer, after Link is attacked by Malice and infected by the green glow, he's without the Master Sword. We know he went into that cave with it, and he seemingly left without it. What happened to the Master Sword? Where could it have gone? Well, today over the course of a shorter video, we're going to go over a couple possibilities as to where the sword could have gone. One possibility is that it was destroyed. Perhaps when Ganon attacked Link directly with his malice and clearly caught him off guard, the Master Sword itself was attacked and destroyed as well. This would certainly explain why we don't see it again, as it's taken totally out of action. Personally, I find this idea a bit far-fetched. I don't think we've ever seen an instance of the Master Sword being totally and completely destroyed. I would err on the side of that not even being actually possible. The Master Sword, like the Triforce, seems like it is probably indestructible. What I find more likely is that it was perhaps shattered, the blade broken into many pieces. This would actually be a pretty cool idea from a gameplay perspective. Imagine if the sword broke into, say, 30 pieces and they were scattered across Hyrule. Link can collect the Master Sword shards by exploring and solving puzzles, and the occasional piece could be tied behind a side quest or a mini game, and collecting all of the pieces allows you to reforge it and have access to it again. I like this because it gives Link another thing to explore for, and any additional exploration rewards are a huge boon for the game. The only reason I hate this idea is because I don't like thinking of poor Fi getting broken into pieces. Another idea that's pretty popular, particularly on Twitter from what I've seen, is the idea that perhaps the Master Sword gets corrupted. I've seen a few ideas of how this could happen. Ganon stealing it seems to be a popular one. People love the idea of the final boss using the iconic sword against you, and I gotta say I agree, that would be fantastic. Or perhaps they'll take a page out of Age of Calamity's book and a Dark Link will be formed to wield the corrupted sword. I've seen the idea of perhaps Ganon absorbing the energy from the Master Sword to, for the lack of a better term, hydrate himself, leaving the sword itself useless. This one seems a bit unlikely to me. I can understand the idea of Ganon corrupting and even wielding the sword. Corrupting things is his entire MO in Breath of the Wild, so that would be consistent. But him absorbing the sword absolutely does not sound consistent. It is literally the blade of evil's bane. I'm pretty sure that any energy Ganon could possibly absorb from the Master Sword would probably be harmful and even fatal to him. It seems very unlikely. I do like corruption of the Master Sword as an overall idea though. Not that I expect her to make any sort of meaningful appearance, but imagine a corrupted Fi. Another thing I want to touch on before I get to what I find to be the most likely theory. I'm sure most of you, at this point, have heard the theory that the Link we see in the new outfit isn't actually the champion Link, but the ancient hero from 10,000 years ago. I won't go into proof for that since I'm not exactly 100% on it, but you can find dozens of videos explaining it. I'm sure your favorite Zelda tuber has made a video about it. I'll link to Tyler Townsend's video on it since I think he explains it very well. Anyway, the idea is that the reason we don't see the Master Sword is because we're not playing as Link. We're playing as the ancient hero, so of course he wouldn't have it. This is a bit nonsense to me. First of all, the ancient hero also had the Master Sword. That's the big blue sword you see him swinging around in the tapestry, very explicitly so. We know that Link carried the Master Sword with him even when he wasn't using it specifically to fight Ganon, so I don't see why the ancient hero would be any different. We'd still need a reason as to why he doesn't have it in his own time. Secondly, even if I accept the ancient hero theory as true, the entire game is not going to be spent in the past. We have multiple instances of hard proof of this. In multiple instances, we see Link dressed in the champion garb gifted to him by the king. So unless the ancient hero has the ability to steal clothes from the future, I think we're definitely playing at least some of the time as the modern Link. Secondly, there are multiple instances in which we can see ruins from the Calamity. Those ruins would not be present if we were playing 9,900 years before the Calamity. At best, they'd be recently built and in good condition still. At worst, they wouldn't have been built yet. So between the ruins and Link's champion garb, it's undeniable that you spend some time as modern Link. And guess what? Every instance of modern Link seen in the trailer after the Malice attack is him being seen without a Master Sword. So we're back to square one. There is a theory about where the Master Sword went that actually makes a lot of sense to me. It's basically the idea that for whatever reason, Link is no longer able to wield the Master Sword. We don't see Link with it anymore because he can't use it, and it probably returned to the watchful eye of the Deku Tree. There are a couple reasons this could be. Perhaps getting attacked and losing Zelda again made the Master Sword deem Link unworthy, and so it left Link because of that. This doesn't seem too likely to me, since it doesn't leave him when he loses initially. It's taken from his body and brought to the Deku Tree. If it didn't leave then, I don't expect it to leave later. The other idea is that the Malice infected Link and tainted him, making him unable to wield the Master Sword on account of it being the sword of evil's bane. If he's tainted with evil, it makes sense that he's not able to wield a righteous sword. I think this theory has merit. I actually like it a lot. A counter-argument to it could be the fact that the Master Sword has been able to be wielded by a cursed Link in the past, for example Wolf Link in Twilight Princess. So if anything, the Master Sword should be able to cure Link's infection. But a counterpoint to your counterpoint would be to suggest that the curse on Link in Twilight Princess wasn't evil. Wolf Link wasn't evil, and the Twilight were not evil. Infection from Malice is 100% evil, so it makes sense that Wolf Link can interact with the Master Sword, but Maliced Link cannot. The most likely scenario, in my opinion, is that Link is unable to wield the Master Sword because whoever or whatever the green hand that infected him is preventing him from doing so. We know that you obviously still can use weapons in this game. Perhaps the green aura is also evil, preventing him from using the Master Sword for the exact same reason as the Malice infection from earlier. I don't think that likely, since we seem to see the hand attacking Ganon. I think the most likely case is that the green hand gives Link an aversion to using the sword, probably due to something plot related. Perhaps it's a Zonai arm and the Zonai just refuse to interact with the Master Sword for some reason. There's a dozen other reasons I could think of. And of course, there's also the possibility that you can use the Master Sword, it just isn't equipped in any of the scenes that we see. So what do you think? Personally, I really like the idea of the Malice infection being the reason that Link can't use the sword. I actually have a video about what I think about the Malice infection coming soon. But what do you think? Do you think that the sword is still usable, we just don't see it? Do you think it was destroyed? Let me know in the comments down below. If you guys liked this video, please let me know. I'm considering doing a lot more of these sort of short little theories on Breath of the Wild 2. And if you haven't liked and subscribed yet, please consider doing so. As always, thanks for watching. Keep your eye out there. Watch out for tendrils of malice. Don't let them get you, because it's dangerous to go alone.